A Generational Legacy, Mr. C.B. Story Part 1 by Pyrrhixz. Pyrrhixz a couple weeks ago hopped in my chat and let me know that his second CB video was almost done. So I want to make sure to watch the first one before he releases the second. So if anyone is not subbed to Pyrrhixz in my chat, which I'm pretty sure you all are, but if you're not, make sure to check him out. Make sure to drop a like. Make sure to drop him a sub. All right, plans for this. Skulls, I'm talking to you, Skulls. Wait, hold on. All right, Skulls, I need to have a conversation with you. You need to not yap so much. All right? You got to just watch the video, be entertaining, but don't yap too much, okay? I'm glad we've come to this understanding. I'm going to yap as much as I want. You can't stop me. No, Skulls. You're supposed to watch it. You're not supposed to yap. Please. This is not what people tune into you for. No one can stop me. I'm going to do what I want. Well, I tried, guys. He didn't want to listen to me. Let's start the video.
Last year, I decided to dive into the world of Umamusume Pretty Derby. In doing so, I not only uncovered my love for the franchise, but also began to grow an attachment to the real history behind some of my favorite characters.
She's so adorable.
Stories of determination, perseverance, and passion quickly swept me off my feet, plunging me down a rabbit hole which seemed to grow more and more interesting the further back I traveled. Every Uma is modeled after the rich history of their real-life counterparts, riveting tales which naturally unfold over the span of their careers. This specific Uma is one such story, one which took me down a rabbit hole to the first racing boom in Japan. A racehorse who in Umamusume stands beside Rudolph as a legendary racer from Tracing Academy, an Uma who appears unbound and carefree, with a deep love for racing.
And a top hat, which is probably the best part about her, is that her top hat is absolutely 10 out of 10, and no one can say otherwise. And trust me, I know a thing or two about top hats.
This is the story of Mr. C.B, the director of the turf. Before we can fully dive into Mr. C.B.'s racing career and history, we first have to establish the lineage that he came from. Mr. C.B.'s sire was Tosho Boy, and his dam C.B. Queen. Originally, Mr. C.B. was a horse that was never supposed to be born.
I remember learning about Tosho Boy from the old man that would guess the Umas. He was the one that talked about Tosho Boy quite a bit. So that was my first time I had heard about Tosho Boy.
But as always, fate would intervene. C.B. Queen at the time was a broodmare with an impressive bloodline of her own. C.B. Queen was the daughter of Topio, a French colt who would claim victory at the 1967 Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. Coming from such a strong lineage, C.B. Queen would achieve victories of her own during her racing career, which lasted from 1975 to 1978. One of C.B. Queen's most notable races being her victory at the 1977 Mainichi Okan. Her victory wasn't only impressive due to her participating against male horses, but also because it would be a record-setting time. C.B. Queen displayed the ability to not only race against horses thought to be outside of her reach, but also shatter course records in the process. After her retirement, C.B. Queen was sent from her birthplace of the Chigira Farm to the Okamoto Ranch. Chigira Farm was located in the Gunma Prefecture, while Okamoto Ranch was located in Hidaka, Hokkaido. Though Mr. C.B.'s dam was already impressive for her time, his sire would be one of the most influential horses of the 1970s. Tosho Boy was one of 3 horses who'd go head-to-head in various races in 1976. This period of fierce competition would be known as the TTG era, signifying the feud between Tosho Boy, 10 Point, and Green Grass. The TTG era was a period that showed a deep adoration for the latter half of the first racing boom, a nationwide craze in Japanese horse racing which was ignited by the rise of the first idle horse Haiseko in 1973. During this period, the current grading system we're all too familiar with had yet to be introduced, the modern-day grading system of G3, G2, and G1 races. Instead, Japan had what was known as the 8 major races, or the Hachi Daikyoso. Races which made up the Hachi Daikyoso were defined as the most prestigious races of that period. These races would include the Oka Sho, Satsuki Sho, Yushin Himba, Tokyo Yushin, Kikka Sho, Spring and Autumn Tenno Sho, and the Arima
I
Kinen.
recognize these
Even with
races.
the absence of the grading system, the concept of the Triple Crown was a well-established title. Saint Light had first claimed this title in 1941, followed by Shinzan in
Ooh, Saint Light.
1964. Tosho Boy would gain attention from various Japanese horse racing fans for his speed and grace on the racecourse. This would earn him the nickname of Tenma, or Pegasus. His explosiveness against the strongest horses of his era was described as exciting to witness firsthand. Tosho Boy would also be recognized as Horse of the Year in 1976, and in 1984, he'd be inducted to the JRA Hall of Fame. Of the 15 total starts in Tosho Boy's career, he'd place first in 10, second in 3, third in 1, and have only one race below the top 3 rankings. Within the first place finishes in his career, 2 would be within the Hachidaikyo So, these being the 1976 victory in the Satsuki Sho and Arima Kinen. In addition, Tosho Boy would claim victory in the 1977 Takarazuka Kinen as
Let's
well.
go, Tosho Boy.
Though Tosho Boy wasn't the victor of the 1977 Arima Kinen, the final race in his career, the race itself is considered the climax of the legendary TTG rivalry. Even in modern day, this fierce showdown is still widely regarded as one of the most intense and popular races in Japanese horse racing. This race, to many, solidified who was the strongest amidst the 3. The history of TTG is another captivating period in Japan's horse racing history, deserving of an entire video itself, which will be released following our dive into Mr. C.B.
Ooh, I look forward to that.
Mr. C.B. was born on April 7, 1980 in Hokkaido. Interestingly, when observing birth records for Mr. C.B., unlike the other horses we've covered before, an entirely fictitious location is listed: Urakawa Chigira Farm. This mere name alone unveils a dramatic story which led to Mr. C.B.'s birth. For this next portion,
I like
of
how
the
even in
video,
her
we'll
training
explore
outfit,
the
she still
history of
wears the top
Chigira
hat.
Farm, which resides in the Gunma Prefecture, the place where Mr. C.B.'s roots lie. The Chigira Ranch has been involved with horse breeding for decades at this point, producing many exceptional horses like Marun Uma, Sugen Uma, Meizui, and CB Queen. During the time of the ranch's establishment till the birth of CB Queen, it is important to note that the ownership became generational over time. In 1927, Kenji Chigira first began producing thoroughbred racehorses. During World War II, Chigira Ranch faced many hardships. Shortage of funds and food resulted in the temporary suspension of breeding operations. Facing insurmountable
Okay, so yeah, you guys were right. He is now saying everything that little text bubble that I read earlier. So he covers the information himself as well. That is good to know.
hardships, the Chigira family worked tirelessly to rebuild their former foundation of the ranch, and by 1963, their efforts would finally bear fruit. Meizui, a cult born in 1960, would claim victory at both the 1963 Satsuki Sho and Tokyo Yushun, a remarkable accomplishment from a ranch that had to rebuild from the ground up. By this point, Kenji had given ownership of his ranch to his son, Yasushi Chigira. Interestingly, Kenji also had a horse who would win the Tokyo Yushun. Sugen Uma would claim victory in the 1938 Tokyo Yushun, making Meizui's victory.
That's crazy that we have footage of this race. Sure, it's old footage, but this is what, 60 years ago? I was only like 100 by then.
A continued legacy of wins at the Yushun for the ranch. By the time Daisaku Chigira, Yasushi's son, took over, just as his father and grandfather had done, he needed to conduct his own research as well. Daisaku possessed a strong passion for racehorses, spending most of his time studying bloodlines meticulously. Daisaku's goal was simple: to continue the legacy of his father and grandfather, and produce a remarkable horse for the Chigira ranch. In 1973, his efforts would finally pay off, and CB Queen was born. After an impressive racing career, CB Queen became a broodmare, Daisaku entrusting her to Okamoto Ranch in Hokkaido. His attention would then shift to finding a suitable mate for CB Queen. As his pursuit for a suitable mate continued, a flash of inspiration captivated Daisaku.
Someone posted a derby video from the 30s? Oh, I didn't see that.
Recalling CB Queen's debut race. Although her career was impressive, CB Queen's debut would be a crushing defeat, losing by over 10 lengths. In that moment, Daisaku was focused on only one thing, the beauty of the winning horse's run. Daisaku thought to himself, this horse will surely become incredible, a magnificent sire.
And he
One
wasn't
day,
wrong.
I want to see the offspring of this horse and queen. As we've witnessed many times before, everything in Japanese horse racing connects at one point or
Everything the
another.
light touches is
This
yours,
instance
Oguri.
is no exception. The horse which had captivated Daisaku was none other than Tosho Boy, the winner of the later dubbed legendary debut race. With newfound determination, Daisaku would submit an application for CB Queen to be bred with Tosho Boy. Now, you may be thinking, with how accomplished Tosho Boy was, surely he must have been a popular breeding stallion, right? The truth
Would make
is,
sense.
he was the exact opposite. Being a domestically bred Japanese horse, Tosho Boy was treated as a third-rate stallion. At the time, Japan simply did not value horses bred domestically as suitable sires.
Oh, they wanted overseas horses. That makes sense.
During this period, overseas and foreign-bred horses were thought to be the only true sires. Furthermore,
Gotcha.
Tosho Boy's first crop of foals did not perform well either. With conception rates below 60%, many of his offsprings inherited traits that acted to prevent a good racing career, not enable it. This is a reputation that was spread among Japan's horse breeders, only attracting broodmares with little to no accomplishments in their careers, drawn only to Tosho Boy by his low breeding fee. These lackluster offsprings only dampened his legacy further. Harumi Tokunaga, the manager of Tosho Boy, ultimately felt sorrow for such an unfortunate outcome. The arrival of CB Queen's application brought great joy to Harumi, followed by a shattering realization.
That's
This
a
could
tall
be the
boy.
chance to preserve Tosho Boy's legacy, breeding with such an accomplished mare like CB Queen. There was only one problem. CB Queen was owned by a non-member farm. Following his retirement, Tosho Boy was purchased by Hidaka Thoroughbred Breeders Association. According to the regulations of said association, Tosho Boy was only allowed to breed with mares owned by Hidaka members. Worried for Tosho Boy's future as a stallion, Harumi made a bold decision. Very well, we cannot leave Tosho Boy in this state. I will personally authorize the breeding with CB Queen. With this one choice, the breeding between Tosho Boy and CB Queen became a reality in 1979. Unsurprisingly, with the conception of CB Queen, Harumi's actions would soon be exposed. Becoming aware of this violation to the rules,
I was about to say, I wonder if they got in trouble for that because he was only supposed to breed with certain mares, but they broke the rules. And well, I guess he's about to tell me now what happened. I would assume it's probably just a fine or something, right? There's no way they lose their license.
nothing could be done at this point. Once life has been conceived, it would not be erased under the excuse of a regulation violation. This calls back to the original mention of Mr. C.B.'s completely fictitious place of birth, Urakawa Chigira Farm. Although the real farm is located in Gunma Prefecture, this name, placing the farm in Hidaka, Hokkaido, was simply the fabrication Tokunaga had created to deceive the organization. In the spring of the following year, 1980, CB Queen would give birth to CB Queen.
Look at that. What a royal horse holding his head up high while trotting forward. You can just sense the royalty.
1, who would later be known as Mr. CB. The meaning of CB is simple yet profound, standing for Chigira Bokujo, for the Chigira
Oh, that's what CB stood for. You see, I'm brain rotted by the internet where I thought CB meant something else entirely.
family. This wasn't just a simple name, but instead a title reserved for only the horses they believed would be the absolute masterpieces of the farm. By making the decision to name this horse Mr. CB, they were staking the entire reputation of their farm on this horse's success. The previously mentioned fictitious place of birth remains a marker of Harumi's violation. Following Mr. CB's birth, Harumi was severely reprimanded by his superior.
I thought it was cheeseburger, don't you? I know the dragon was closer to what I thought, but let's just play the video.
And for some time will receive scrutiny in the workplace. Though CB Queen attempted to breed a few more times with different stallions, she'd ultimately failed to conceive following Mr. CB's birth. It is said that CB Queen had poured all of her life into bringing Mr. CB into this world. Funnily enough, due to CB Queen and Tosha Boy's participation in their maiden race together, many regarded this event as a childhood friend's marriage. In Umamusume, there's an event where Mr. CB recalls her parents, explaining the following. My parents were a trainer and their pupil, but they'd eloped and married against everyone's strong opposition. As Umamusume does, a subtle nod is given through the simple retelling of Mr. CB's unconventional birth. I must say, that was quite a dense segment just to cover one portion of Mr. CB's rich history.
And
If
I
you see
read
the
it.
remaining runtime, I'd suggest grabbing some snacks.
Look at them oguri snacks. Jeez, I could eat all that. It's in my American DNA.
And your favorite beverage to enjoy the rest of this video. Luckily for me, I have a variety of snacks to choose from, thanks to the sponsor of this video.
You guys want to skip the ad? I mean, I can. All right, you know what? If you guys want, we'll skip it. But just because I skipped it, I'll go ahead and give it a shout out. I'm not sponsored, but if anyone is interested in Pyrrhixz sponsorship, you can use code Pyrrhixz for Tokyo Tree and Sakura Co Box. Again, I'm not sponsored, but if you're interested in it, you guys can check out Pyrrhix's links and all that stuff.
When Mr. CB was born, he was fairly small for a colt, almost as small as a filly would be. Despite his small frame, CB had great posture, was perfectly balanced, and used his entire body to jump and prance about. Among Tosha Boy's offspring, Mr. CB showed the most potential. Instead of inheriting detrimental traits as previous offspring had, Mr. CB seems to have only inherited good qualities from his sire. In his first year,
I wish that would have been the case when I was playing horsey game. All my horses that I bred were all kind of dum-dums or stubby-legged or kind of, horrible at running and fell over.
Mr. CB proved to be easy to work with. He was usually calm and very obedient. With this calmness did come a fierce stubbornness if his mood was dampened.
Skill issue? I guess I'm just not good at breeding.
Mr. CB, just like his mother, will refuse to obey any commands or listen if he were upset. In 1982, Mr. CB entered the Matsuyama stable. Seeing his exceptional development, the staff of the stable were eager to work with him, holding high expectations. Yasuhisa Matsuyama would be appointed as CB's trainer, and eventually, Matsuyama will reach out to Masato Yoshinaga to jockey Mr. CB in future races to come. Yoshinaga would serve as Mr. CB's primary jockey, riding him in every race from his debut to retirement. This inquiry to ride the first foal of CB Queen was due to the fact that Yoshinaga was her regular jockey throughout her career. He had chosen to ride CB Queen over other highly evaluated horses at the time.
Cuck is an MVP. Yeah, I bred Cuck with another horse, but they were actually kind of crazy. They were really good. I'll probably play that game again at some point, but was Cuck's name a reference to Narita Top Road? No. The reason why that one was named is because you can do weird breeding. I bred a car with a duck, so obviously if you breed a car with a duck, it has to be a Cuck. But anyways, I'm going to get distracted talking about horsey game. Let's go back to the CB video before I get too distracted.
Now, being asked to jockey CB Queen's memorable firstborn, it was an offer that he simply couldn't refuse. Just as he'd done with CB Queen, Yoshinaga would be by Mr. CB as they ran each race.
I saw you did Dream Journey as a name. Yes, it was for an alligator. I named it Journey Skulls because it had sharp teeth and it was tiny. And well, Journey liked to bite, so I thought it was very fitting.
A legacy bond that would prove inseparable. Yoshinaga himself was not a highly acclaimed jockey. If anything, he was evaluated as a second-tier rider at best. He wasn't incapable, but instead possessed a relatively unique riding style. Yoshinaga would either break away from the pack at the start of the race, or linger in the very back, only to launch a furious final stretch near the end of the race. Understandably, these were considered rough tactics, and with it came enormous risks. Although his methods were unorthodox, Yoshinaga still garnered his own set of fans who were mesmerized by his unique racing style. Seeing him surge from last to first place was something truly uncommon to witness during a race. Among these fans was a poet named Shuji
Wait a second, why does that guy got such good hair? Man, why did I have to be cursed with horrible hair?
Terayama. He admired Yoshinaga, who continued to race despite losing his wife early on in his life and leaving his children in his hometown. Even with these unfortunate circumstances, Yoshinaga continued to live
By the way, not naturally bald. I'm not naturally bald. I shave my head just because I don't like the way my hair looks. I am not naturally bald. I'm shaved bald. There's a difference.
by his own convictions, steadfastly following his own path paved through grief and hardship. The partnership between Mr. C.B. and
But still bald, yes. Technically still bald, just not naturally bald. I can grow my hair out.
this jockey of solitude would unveil a story truly unique to the world of Japanese horse racing. As Mr. C.B.'s career began, no one could have predicted the future which awaited him. Conditioning would continue into Mr. C.B.'s 2-year-old year. On November 6, 1982, Mr. C.B. would enter the Tokyo racecourse for his debut. With no major setbacks during training, hopes were high for a victory. Being the first offspring of C.B. Queen alongside Tosho Boy, Mr. C.B. generated a considerable amount of anticipation from eager onlookers. Mr. C.B. would be ranked first in the popularity poll to win.
Let's
With these high
go.
expectations came a dramatic start. Mr. C.B. would have a late start to the race itself, and for a brief moment, would generate a sudden sense of fear for
That's
a loss
right.
at his debut.
He's an end closer.
Even with this late start, Mr. C.B. would crush his competition, pulling ahead, securing a victory by a staggering 5 lengths.
There we go.
Mr. C.B. had not only won his debut, but showcased a dominant presence to those who witnessed the race. A month
Okay, I'm dumb, so you guys are gonna have to excuse this question. But Mr. CB isn't out yet in Global, right? At least off of memory? Not yet?
later, on December 4th, 1982, Mr. C.B. will participate in the Umamusume Show. Just like his debut, Mr. C.B. was once more the fan favorite to win. This race also would signify an unexpected weakness that Mr. C.B.'s team hadn't witnessed before. As the gates opened, just like in his debut a month prior, Mr. C.B. would find difficulty exiting the gate. It wasn't a mere misstart, but instead a complete failure to exit the gate properly. This resulted in an undesirable position for Yoshinaga, who urged Mr. C.B. forward, attempting to position themselves in the middle of the pack. Instead of simply obeying his jockey's command, Mr. C.B. would begin a monstrous spurt forward. This
Let's
sudden
go.
surge replaced Mr. C.B. at
Come
the front
on,
of the pack,
go.
and even then, his explosive pace did not stop. From a position which was less than ideal for his jockey, to a display of fierce speed to claim first place. Even though Mr. C.B.
Nice.
had won his second race in a row, his team remained uneasy. It was clear that this horse possessed an innate talent, gifted with speed and the ability to surge forward. This victory was bittersweet, and only in time could these obstacles properly be addressed. On December 25, 1982, Mr. C.B. will participate in the final race of his 2-year-old year. The Hiragi Show would act as a testing ground for the team to confirm their suspicion of C.B.'s previous win. Just like the Kuromatsu Show, Mr. C.B. would experience yet another late start at the gate, leaving him far behind the rest of his competition. The Nakayama racecourse is infamously known for its short homestretch, and with this severe starting issue, many fans lost hope the instant Mr. C.B. exited the gate. From that position, over such a short stretch, there's no way he makes it.
What a bunch of doubters. How dare they?
Even if the odds are low, a small chance always exists. This would be Mr. C.B.'s 3rd consecutive late start. Yoshinaga, a jockey who raced just
That's right, CB just thrives in the late start.
as unconventionally as the horse he rode now, had already braced himself for such an event to occur. As the two continued to ride, a sudden thought crossed his mind. This is simply the kind of horse he is. This is his innate nature, his way of running. Since the start would always be lost,
And I think I remember in the past, they said that back then, during this time, end closers weren't really a popular running style or was considered a bad running style. And I believe it was Mr. CB that changed that. I'm not sure if Pyrrhixz is going to go into that, but I remember hearing that in another video that I've reacted to in the past.
Yoshinaga came to one conclusion. They would race only the final stretch. This sudden decision ignited a new desire for the Hiragi Show, to test how powerful Mr. CB's final spurt truly was. A choice birthed from the desperation of their hopeless position, a desperation that Mr. CB would answer. As they reached the final homestretch, Mr. CB would display a level of acceleration far beyond the common expectations in the racing world at the time. Unlike Mr.
Man.
CB's debut race, the competitors at the Pyrrhixz Show were no longer inexperienced colts. They were formidable adversaries, each having claimed at least one victory in their careers.
Oh, okay. So CB essentially invented it, but Tamamo popularized it. That makes sense. Well, not invented it, but brought it, I guess, to the forefront, showed that it was possible.
This roster of talented horses and seasoned jockeys made one thing painfully clear. In this race, there wasn't a single opponent who'd easily yield. Even so, Mr. CB would break through to the front of the pack.
Come on, Mr.
engaging in a
CB.
head-to-head
Holy,
clash with
look at that
Umeno Shin
spurt.
Oh. Crossing the finish line, Mr. CB and Shin Oh would finish head-to-head.
That
This
is
would also mark the
insane
first loss
spurt.
in Mr. CB's career,
Only lost by a neck, though.
losing to Umeno Shin Oh by a neck. Despite the loss, Yoshinaga felt a strong feeling that quickly overwhelmed him. Mr. CB had displayed an explosive power unparalleled by any other competitors at the time. He was convinced that even with these late starts, Mr. CB's acceleration could serve as their ace in the hole for future races to come. An ordinary jockey would likely think that these late starts should immediately be corrected. However, Yoshinaga was anything but ordinary. If he's going to be late anyway, then we let him settle at the back through the middle stage of the race.
That's really smart of the jockey. I wonder, would that be what people do in today's age? If they had a horse and it seemed to just start late, do you guys think they would correct it or just kind of let it be? I feel like back then you could kind of experiment more because things weren't so fine-tuned. I don't think that would be as possible today, so it's interesting to see.
Conserving as much energy as possible. Then we strike in the final stretch. This tactic, dubbed as the hold-up tactic, was Yoshinaga's specialty. Seeing Mr. CB's current dilemma of late starts, he saw no reason to not apply his strongest tactic to Mr. CB as well. Solidifying this choice, the strategy was born to make Mr. CB a legend. The devastating last-to-first assault. With this, Mr. CB would end his 2-year-old year of racing, participating in 3 total races, placing first in 2 and second in 1. Though Mr. CB's team felt these late starts were a great weakness, Yoshinaga had transformed it into their greatest weapon.
That's
Entering his
crazy.
3-year-old year, Mr. CB's team planned to have him participate in the classic races. Of the 3 races,
That shows, though, how impressive of a jockey he was as well, though. To say, you know what, that's just how he rolls. We can't really fix that, so instead, let's make it work for us. Really, really intelligent by the jockey. Huge props.
which make up the classics, the Tokyo Yushun was the one that his trainer paid the most attention to. In order to give Mr. CB experience on Tokyo racecourses, his team would enter him in the Kyoto Sushin High on February 13th,
Why does that almost look like dirt? A dirt track. Oh wait, it is.
1983. The Kyoto Sushin High is widely considered a gateway race to the Yushun, drawing strong
See, my brain heard Tokyo Yushun, and I was like, wait, that's dirt. So it took me a second to realize that wasn't the Japanese Derby.
competitors, one of which being Umeno Shin Oh. Surprisingly, Mr. CB would exit the gate smoothly for this race. Even with this surprising development, Yoshinaga was still fully committed to utilizing Mr. CB's monstrous acceleration. He deliberately eased his position to last place. This time, it wasn't an unfortunate late start that would push Mr. CB to last place, but instead, an intentional move by Yoshinaga. Almost as if they were perfectly synergized, Mr. CB would answer Yoshinaga's wishes. After the 3rd corner, Mr. CB began rapidly closing the gap to the
Interesting.
leading positions. As they approached the final
So even without a late start, he could control him, and Mr. CB just followed naturally of how he wanted him to run. That's so fascinating, man.
home stretch, Mr. CB engaged in a fierce
Let's
head-to-head
go.
duel
Let's
with
go.
Umeno Shin
Let's
Oh.
go.
Unlike his
Mr.
previous
CB.
race, this time, Mr. CB prevailed, beating
Nice.
Shin Oh by a head. Just as Yoshinaga thought, this style of racing suited Mr. CB perfectly. A month later, Mr. CB would enter the Yayoi Show on March 6, 1983. Just like the Kyoto Sushinhai, Yoshinaga once more deliberately placed Mr. C.B at the very back
The
of the
Yayoi
pack.
Show.
It is important to note that Mr. C.B.'s natural abilities made him capable of maintaining his position mid-pack. Even so, Yoshinaga would opt to follow the tactics developed from Mr. C.B.'s shortcomings. The results spoke for themselves. Just like his previous race,
The Yaoi Show. No, guys, Yayoi Show. Look, see? There's another Y in there. Well, it's covering it, but you can see there's another Y. You guys are missing it.
Mr. C.B. would accelerate near the final homestretch. Utilizing pure strength, Mr. C.B. would rapidly pull ahead, securing a victory by 1.5 lengths. This only acted to strengthen Yoshinaga's resolve. This strategy, he thought, will work regardless of the battlefield. All the training Mr. C.B. experienced had finally led to the development of a fierce racing strategy. What was once seen as a crutch swiftly became his greatest strength. On April 17th,
Yahweh. Look, I can only speak American. It's not my fault. All I can say is burger and guns and freedom. That's all I can speak.
1983, the time would come for Mr. C.B. to participate in his first major race of the classic season, the Satsuki Sho. Mr. C.B. at this time stood as the overwhelming favorite to win.
But you know Spanish, right? I can understand some Spanish, but I can't speak it. I can only understand like very, very basic things.
It had been 7 years since his sire, Tosho Boy, claimed victory at the Satsuki Sho undefeated. This very same race would be what led to Tosho Boy's nickname of Pegasus being created. Though not undefeated, Mr. C.B. had to continue the legacy of his sire, a dream passed from father to son, a story written in their bloodline.
The Sasuke Show, Naruto's favorite. No, I think that was the Yaoi Show, if we're talking about Naruto.
Upon entering the gate, a total of 20 participants were present to face off against Mr. C.B. With this large roster rose several notable rivals for Mr. C.B. to overcome. Second favorite, Umamusume Ryu, was at the heels of an impressive performance in their racing career, having placed first in 3 consecutive victories before placing second at the Mainichi High a month prior to the Satsuki Sho. Third favorite was Blue Durban, jockeyed by Masato Shibata. Shibata was a well-experienced jockey who'd ridden Bolts and Bali during the TTG era, and would later ride the infamous Climb Kaiser. Fifth favorite was Mejiro Monzane.
I've never heard of this Meijiro before. Meijiro Monsinus. How did he say it?
Was Mejiro Monzane.
Oh, Monsinus. Okay, it's not Monsinus. Good to know.
Though his race record wasn't as decorated as the previous 2, Monzane was a late closer just as Mr. C.B. was. The Mejiro camp eagerly awaited the confrontation between their horse and Mr. C.B., and many onlookers also viewed Monzane as C.B.'s natural rival. Monzane also appears in Umamusume and Katsuragi Ace's training story under the substitute name Shina Freyas. Eighth favorite was Nihon Pillow Winner, ridden by Kunihiko Take. This horse would later become known as the Mile King, with one of his descendants being Yamanin Zephyr.
Ooh.
Finally,
Yamanin Zephyr was so hard to beat in the, what is it? Is it legend races? We have to do those extra races on JP. I had to specifically build a Mile Uma just to beat her. I struggled so much.
one more colt would take to the gate, one who had not yet revealed his true potential.
Master Challenge. That's the one. Master Challenge.
His performances were inconsistent, claiming victories and staggering losses in his career. This horse was the 7th favorite to win, and a horse you're all too familiar with from Umamusume. This horse's name was Katsuragi Ace.
Oh, here we go.
Mr. C.B., despite this roster of talented competitors, overshadowed them all. This race would have one final hurdle for his team to overcome. Heavy rain had struck the Nakayama racecourse.
I do love Ace's design.
That day, and worry quickly rose that the heavy conditions would dampen Mr. C.B.'s ability to surge from the back. As the race began, the rain did not stop. Beneath a sky of oppressive gray clouds, the gates flew open. Mr. C.B. exited the gate smoothly, and soon after, Yoshinaga eased him back as he'd done so many times before. Just as he'd done at the Yayoi Show, he confidently stuck to his late surger strategy,
I do love Katsuragi Ace's design and her outfit, but that's also because I'm biased because of her color scheme.
Even in the face of the first Triple Crown race, Yoshinaga did not waver. With nerves of steel, he pressed onward. But then, a sudden incident would occur. Many jockeys, due to the heavy conditions of the racecourse, drove their horses sharply towards the inner track entering the first corner. This was in an attempt to grant their horses better footing in these muddy conditions. As the competitors grouped together,
Yeah, makes
one
sense.
horse veered off course and collided directly with Mr. C.B. In the footage
Oh
shown, it is
no.
clear that this jolted Yoshinaga, who instantly sat upright and desperately worked to keep control. Rainy weather and heavy track conditions can easily spell disaster
I wonder, was that done on purpose or was it an accident? Did they ever say? I would assume it was an accident because there's kind of no point doing it on purpose.
for any racer in CB's position. Mud kicked up violently from the front of the pack.
I really want a movie about Ace. Yeah, I was talking with Chat about that a few months ago, and pretty much the only way that it can be done is if you have Katsuragi Ace as the protagonist and Rudolph and Mr. CB in there, but it can't be focused on them for it to work. It has to be focused on Ace.
Pelting the remaining horses with debris. If a horse's vision became obstructed, it could be disastrous. Despite the unpredictable chaos on the course, Mr. CB remained composed, unfazed by the downpour or the heavy conditions. As the competitors hit the final homestretch, Mr. CB began his familiar, gradual acceleration from behind, advancing slowly to the front of the pack. Leading the group was Katsuragi Ace.
Ace is perfect anime protags and CB and Rudolph look like final bosses. Yes, that's why I think it'll work so well if Ace is the protagonist.
Mr. CB's main target to surpass to take the lead. Mud-soaked, Yoshinaga commanded CB to push past Ace's leading position, and though Ace resisted briefly, he was soon overpowered by the overwhelming strength of Mr. CB in the homestretch. Within the final meters of the Satsuki Sho, Monzane engaged in a fierce battle to the finish in Ace's place. Ultimately, CB would pull ahead, claiming a victory in the first leg of the Triple Crown series by a half length. This victory meant much more than simply winning. For Masato Yoshinaga, it was his first ever classic win, achieving a victory after 34 previous fruitless attempts. A man who was once deemed as a second-rate jockey, one who was
Man,
mocked for his unorthodox tactics.
proving them all wrong. When they said CB style couldn't win, CB proves them wrong. When they said the jockey style wasn't good enough and couldn't win, he proves them wrong.
Had finally been vindicated. The poet, Shuji Terayama, who admired Yoshinaga so greatly, was also present at the Nakayama racecourse that day. Against doctors' orders, he slipped out of the hospital while being treated for advanced cirrhosis. Doctors had told him that he had very little time left to live.
Oh,
His own
jeez.
physical health didn't matter to him at the time. Only one thought forming from the harsh reality of his situation. I probably won't live to see Yoshinaga ride in the Japanese Derby. Having witnessed a
Well,
victory
that
at
took
the
a
Satsuki
dark
Sho,
and sad turn.
Terayama was filled with overwhelming joy for the jockey he so deeply admired. Even though it wasn't the race he yearned to watch Yoshinaga participate in, he was still able to witness his first classic victory. It was almost as if Terayama was content with this, and had accepted his fate following the Satsuki Sho. 5 days later, Terayama fell into a coma, and never awoke to see Mr. CB and Yoshinaga ride again. Ultimately,
Aw.
he would pass away on May 4th, 1983, at the age of 47.
Rest in
Shuji
peace.
Terayama was a poet who held significant influence among Japan's intellectuals. In addition, he was also a racing enthusiast, one who possessed a deep affection for horse racing. Lyrics like Farewell Haiseko, to his reflection on the tragedy of 10 Point's grandmother, Kumawaka, his love for the sport was painfully clear. The dramas naturally woven between horses and humans were stories he was all too familiar with. As word spread that Terayama essentially had risked his life to witness a victory of CB and Yoshinaga, it deeply moved the public. Combined with the fame of being the son of Pegasus and the first offspring of CB Queen,
Imagine the pressure that puts on the jockey now. He has the man who just passed, his hopes and dreams sitting on his shoulder. That has to be some insane pressure.
Mr. C.B. became the exact symbol Terayama had envisioned him as, a storybook protagonist, capturing the hearts of the nation. With the victory at the Satsuki Sho, the next race was obvious. On May 29, 1983, Mr. C.B. would enter the very race Shuji Terayama yearned so deeply to witness, the second leg of the Triple Crown series, and yet another classic race, the Tokyo Yushun. Mr. C.B.'s unique riding style would also shatter the normal assumptions of the Tokyo Yushun. The term derby position refers to being within the top 10 when entering the first corner. If a horse is not in
so
this
pace
position,
or late.
it is widely believed that they cannot win the derby. These concerns were voiced by professionals and commentators.
Ah, where's her hat? I don't like it. Where's the hat? It doesn't feel right. I don't like it. Wait, I can fix this. Perfect. There we go. Now it's like it never happened. Now she looks great. Fantastic even. All right, let me go back to my corner. Worse? All right, let me go back to my corner and hit play. You're reacting too fast. Where's the yap? Get away from her, you hat fetish old man. Not with your ugly hat. All right, I try to do my best and help out poor CB by giving her my hat, and I get roasted by chat that I'm not yapping enough and that my hat is not good enough for CB. Just gonna hit play.
However, confidence in Mr. C.B. remained unshaken. The public had already seen his racing style and had become completely enthralled by it. To witness a horse charge from last place all the way to the front was unheard of at this time. Even if skeptics and critics believed that a tactic as brash as this brought disadvantages, the public believed, or perhaps wished, that Mr. C.B. could emerge victorious with this unorthodox running style. They'd seen it happen too many times before, and hoped to
Never
see
doubt
Yoshinaga
Mr.
once
C.B.
more perform something extraordinary.
You fools.
If the public's expectation wasn't enough pressure,
Ooh, look how excited that horse was.
if the
Look at this guy.
public's expectation
No, this guy.
wasn't enough pressure, there was another possibility should CB emerge victorious in this race. The Tokyo Yushun was the very same race his sire, Tosho Boy, had lost. If CB emerged victorious here, it would be seen as an accomplishment at a race where Tosho Boy had faltered. The members of Mr. CB's team,
He has to win
well
for his
aware of the
papa.
expectations and roster of competitors, did not take the Tokyo Yushun lightly. Mr. CB's late surger tactics were a direct contrast to the front-running tactics used by most contenders. This made it impossible to control the pace of the race. In addition, based on his previous race history, it was obvious that he would be heavily marked by his competitors. The risk of being blocked or getting boxed in would be higher than ever before. All of these concerns began to eclipse the hope the team once held for a victory. This worry would turn to clear concern as Mr. CB entered the paddock before his race. While circling the paddock, CB's cheekpiece strap would suddenly snap. Though this could just be seen as a mere coincidence by any onlookers,
Or is it a
for those who
omen?
live by racing intuition, it was an omen of
Oh,
misfortunes
no.
to come.
It
Witnessing
was.
this, a vague sense of dread fell upon both Yoshinaga and Matsuyama. As Mr. CB stepped onto the course, he was greeted by a thunderous applause. He wasn't just the favorite, but was a favorite by an overwhelming margin.
Yeah, look at those odds. That's kind of crazy. And then the one person that bet on Suzuka Koban, and if they won, holy payout.
The 50th Tokyo Yushun began with a wave of gasps from the audience. Mr. CB had blown the start once more. Though this wasn't anything new, the
It's
lingering
just-
thought
that's
of
how he
the derby
rolls.
position caused many to view this as a major blunder, one that could be fatal in achieving victory. In his current
Bunch of
position, it was
doubters.
impossible for Mr. CB to enter the top 10 within the first corner. As the race continued, the jockeys surrounding Yoshinaga grew more anxious. For some reason, Mr. CB showed no signs of making a move. If Mr. CB, the most dangerous horse in the field, did not move, then they wouldn't either.
Oh my, so he kind of mind gamed them then, because they're just like, no, we have to have the 10th position because that's the derby position. But he was like, nah, we're going to just run our own style and go at our own pace. So the other jockeys are like, wait a minute, he isn't rushing forward. So does that mean we also not rush forward? But wouldn't that not put us in a right spot? But, and then they got confused. Genius plays.
If they maintained this position, only the front running group would be able to pull away. This positioning will remain after the third corner, and if Mr. C.B. remained motionless, the field would fan out in the final corner, completely blocking his path. Of course, this was something Yoshinaga had factored into his plan. Every action by every competitor present had played right into the palm of his hands.
There
He
we
waited
go.
from the time exiting the gate till the last possible moment to make his move. This tactic
This
would be
guy was a
different from what the audience
genius.
was used to seeing before. A forceful tactic that Yoshinaga believed only CB could execute. A direct charge through the center of the pack. Up until this point, Yoshinaga always kept CB far away from the pack, having him run in isolation. He would swing wide to avoid contact when surging from behind. That would not be the case this time. As the leading group entered the third corner, Yoshinaga drove straight into the heart of the pack, forcing open a narrow path, skimming past other horses close enough to brush them. Ordinarily, this type of tactic would be impossible, but Mr. C.B. persevered. At the third corner, he was in 18th place, but by the fourth corner, he was in 5th. While pushing through, Mr. C.B. would collide with Katsuragi Ace. Instead of CB faltering, it would be Ace who would lose momentum. Unable to regain balance, Ace began to drift as Mr. CB continued his confident stride to the finish.
Let's
Entering
go.
the final straight,
Mr.
Mr. CB
CB
broke away from all of
Oh,
his
look at that
competitors
spurt,
completely,
man.
securing the lead position uncontested. No one could catch him. Mejiro Monzane gave a desperate chase, but just like the Satsuki Sho, he could not close the
Yup.
gap.
Look at
As the
that.
crowd roared, the race commentator would shout, "Mr. CB has surpassed his sire, Tosho Boy."
Oh,
Another victory.
I got chills
the
there for a
second jewel
second.
of the Triple Crown.
Oh, that's so
And more
good.
importantly, the redemption for his sire. Mr. CB's victory
He
would
did it
also
for his
continue
dad.
on the generational wins of the Kagura farm at the Tokyo Yushun, a 3-generation lineage of derby victories. On the other hand, this unconventional tactic of breaking through the center of the field stirred significant controversy. Watching his charge from the third corner, many onlookers worried that Mr. CB may be disqualified.
By the way, Skull's Gold Ship also did the same thing CB did in the Kikasho, accelerate on the uphill. Damn. No wonder Goshi's my Oshi.
The contact with Katsuragi Ace near the end of the final corner was, by all sense of definition, a bad collision. Despite these worries, the race was not called for inquiry, and Mr. CB's victory remained unchallenged. Though the
Nice.
Yushun victory was secured, Yoshinaga was held responsible for interfering with the other horses during his bold charge through the center of the pack. As punishment, he received a riding suspension, and in addition, no mementos from the Tokyo Yushun can be found at Yoshinaga's home.
All he did, though, was kind of just push forward. I guess bumping other riders is considered bad, but I don't know. You have to get to the front somehow, right? If you want to win, how are you supposed to win if you don't, like, try to squeeze your way through? I doubt he bumped intentionally, but, you know, if you're trying to win, sometimes you got to just do what you got to do. Now, obviously, I'm not saying, like, cheat and try to harm other people or anything, but it's kind of not his fault if he was trying to push to the front and kind of, you know, just bumped into his fellow racers.
All physical awards of this victory were confiscated by the JRA. 2 months after Mr. CB's victory at the Tokyo Yushun, a new challenger would make their debut. On July 23, 1983, this future rival to CB would win his debut with an overwhelming sense of strength.
Oh
His
no,
horse's
the Emperor. Is it time for the Emperor to make his appearance?
jockey was Yukio Okabe, his trainer Yuji Nohira, and his home was a Symboli farm.
Why do I hear boss music?
Looming in the distance, this horse would soon clash with Mr. CB. After Mr. CB's spring season, which was peppered with fierce competition, he was granted a well-deserved rest. Mr. CB's own summer vacation. This peaceful break was short-lived though, and Mr. CB would face a litany of setbacks. During his time off, Mr. CB would step on a nail, and though
Oh, I wasn't laughing that he stepped on a nail. I was just laughing because he's rolling around in the dirt. But look at him enjoying that nice little dirt bath.
the injury was minor, Matsuyama brought him back to the stable for observation. When returning with Matsuyama, CB would unfortunately contract a severe lingering summer cold.
Oh,
All the
no.
while, CB's rivals continued to train. However,
At least I'm not the only one that catches a cold in the summer. It's good to know.
Mr. CB was forced to recover. The illness forced him to skip the St. Light Keenan, which would be held on October 2nd. Mr. CB would barely recover in time to enter the Kyoto Shimbunhai on October 23rd. Even with the sudden registration for this race, many still worried about CB's capabilities after taking such a long time to recover.
That's
All of
right.
CB's competitors
He was
would have
building
had
up his
suitable
power
time
level.
to train properly for this race, while Mr. CB only had trained sparsely a month prior. His body weight had also increased from 12 kilograms since the Tokyo Yushun,
Oh, he got a little
far from the
chunky.
ideal weight for this race. Even so, Mr. CB once more would be the favorite to win. The claiming of the first 2 jewels of the Triple Crown was enough to give people hope. CB and Yoshinaga's unconventional way of riding that had eclipsed
I don't know what this little yellow fluff ball is. I can see, like, obviously, it's connected here, but I like this little fluff ball.
the rest of his competition. As the race began, Mr. CB remained consistent with his usual strategy of staying at the rear. Running in the front of the pack was Katsuragi Ace, who sat as the second favorite to win. Ace had previously finished 11th in the Satsuki Sho and 6th in the Tokyo Yushun. Even with these crushing defeats, he still showed promise, nearly claiming first place in the Kyokyo Sansai Stakes in June.
That's just so cool. While CB is, doing his best and riding high right now, Katsuragi Ace is in the background preparing, training, improving. And, well, we know what it leads up to, but still, it's just so fascinating to know that, well, some of the legends were having their moment, the other legends in the making were building theirs.
The Kobe Shimbunhai in October. Even with the absence of a first place finish, Ace's efforts were still well regarded. Ultimately, spectators cared less about the ones leading the pack, and more about when Mr. CB's final surge would begin. When would he make his move to cut to the front? As Yoshinaga continued to ride alongside Mr. CB, he couldn't shake a looming feeling which had set on his shoulders. Just like the Tokyo Yushun, Mr. CB did not move. Even after passing the backstretch, Mr. CB remained motionless. What the audience once assumed was another daring move, an action to be made at the last possible moment, quickly turned to silent. The sound of the announcer's voice cut through. Mr. CB is in trouble. While the mid-pack horses were distracted by CB, the front group had distanced themselves further, opening a decisive gap. Entering the final home stretch, Mr. CB drifted inward unstably, and showed no trace of the explosive acceleration he had become so well recognized for. As CB struggled to make a move, Katsuragi Ace would take the lead, with CB sitting in 4th place. A formidable challenger, previously eclipsed by the favorite, was about to defeat the monarch of their generation. Crossing the finish line, Katsuragi Ace claimed first place, with Mr. CB finishing 4th. The gap between Ace and CB was 8 lengths.
8 lengths. That's crazy.
A complete and utter defeat. What captured the crowd's attention the most was the second burst of speed Ace displayed when pulling away from the leading group. This also caused the audience to question the possibility of CB's ability to claim the Triple Crown. Can he really win the Kika Sho after this?
It's alright, it was just one bad race. It's fine. You just shrug it off and keep going.
The last Triple Crown recipient was nearly 20 years earlier, with Shinzan claiming the title in 1964. In the 2 decades that followed, many formidable horses had risen to the challenge, only to fall short of claiming the Triple Crown. With each failed attempt, doubt quickly spread that another Triple Crown horse might never appear again. Mr. CB had initially given many the hope of seeing a 3rd recipient crowned, but now that hope began to sour. Regardless of what the public believed, Matsuyama devoted himself entirely to preparing CB for the Kika Sho.
That everyone started
CB's
doubting again.
Even recovering from illness, reminding skeptics that his condition at the time was far from perfect.
Yeah,
CB
he was
still showed
sick.
a willingness to run, and was still
He had a
able to
fever.
finish in the front of the pack. Matsuyama intended to train CB as much as he could to restore his competitive instinct. Seeing this determination, everyone in the CB camp dedicated themselves as well, fully committed to achieving the Triple Crown. Of course, the media, as they always do, stir up the juiciest stories that they can find. They'd all report on Mr. CB's poor condition, and raise the question of his ability to win the final leg of the Triple Crown.
Of course, the media goes in and stirs trouble, so that way they can report on the news to make it more exciting.
Reporters, eager to outdo their rival media outlets, sought to interview the people closest to Mr. CB, these people being trainer Matsuyama and jockey Yoshinaga. The relentless interviews of these two could only be described as extraordinary. The utter bombardment by the media was never ending. I think they should be left alone for a while. They are carrying a tremendous responsibility. It is stated that even other jockeys and stable personnel sympathize with CB's trainer and jockey. Even with the excessive media coverage, Mr. CB still shot to the top of the favorites for the Kika show. This utter outpour of support could only be described as the public's outcry for Mr. CB's story itself.
Yeah.
Looming overhead, just like the Tokyo Yushun, was a prospect of avenging his sire once more. Tosho Boy had been defeated in the 1976 Kika
He could do
show,
it again,
finishing third behind his contemporaries in the TTG generation, Greengrass and 10 Point. When competing in the 1977 Autumn Tenno show, Tosho Boy would run out of stamina, placing 7th overall. The Kika show isn't only the final leg of the Triple Crown races, but also is the longest.
I never realized that the Kika show has quite a bit of a downhill. Huh.
Amidst the three, clocking in at 3,000 meters. It is said that the fastest horse wins the Satsuki Sho, the luckiest the Tokyo Yushun, and the strongest the Kika Sho. This would be the final test of CB's capabilities. Could Mr. CB conquer what his sire could not?
No, that's an uphill? Oh, was it an uphill? Then never mind, I was reading it wrong.
The team behind Mr. CB remained confident. In the weeks following the Shimbunhai, CB's condition would improve steadily. He completed rigorous training for the Kika show, and it was soon made clear that he was in far better shape than he was during the Tokyo Yushun.
Oh, he
Finally,
slimmed down?
On November 13th, 1983, the day would arrive as the sun rose over the Kyoto racecourse. Just before the Kika show, while in the weighing room, Yoshinaga would be approached by a familiar reporter who asked, "I want to talk to you properly after the race." Yoshinaga replied, "Of course, though I'm not sure you'll be able to get near me after the race today." This sheer confidence wasn't blind arrogance, but proof in the bond CB and Yoshinaga shared. He had full trust and confidence.
He essentially told him, oh, you want to interview me after the race? Well, good luck reaching me in the winner's circle, because I'm going to be surrounded by reporters. The confidence.
That Mr. CB would be Japan's third Triple Crown winner. Anticipation filled the air that day, thousands eager to see if Mr. CB would make history. And so, the race began. Mr. CB had a fair start to the race, and soon Katsuragi Ace took the lead, shaping the pace of the race. Ace, who had brilliantly contained CB in the Shimbunhai, was second favorite to win once again. Ace's preferred aptitude was considered to be around middle distances, sitting at 2,000 meters. Due to the 1,000 meter difference over his preferred aptitude, his team debated withdrawing him from the Kika show. When deliberating their choice further, they'd come to one realization: I want to race against.
They're just like, yeah, you know, Ace isn't really suitable to this racetrack, but if we can steal a win from CB, that would go crazy. And that's why they kept Ace in. Honestly, I kind of respect it. I would have done the same, but I'm kind of a troll.
Mr. CB on the grand stage of the classics. Mr. CB, who reigned as the champion of his era, came from a strong bloodline, while Katsuragi Ace was an ordinary colt with an ordinary pedigree. Born and raised on a small family-run farm, Ace was an object of admiration born in the same era. And at the same time, he recognized CB as his rival. Katsuragi Ace's team decided, we will race against Mr. CB, the pinnacle of Japanese-bred thoroughbreds. Mr. CB remained at the rear, waiting for a precise moment to strike. The Kika show isn't only infamous for its demanding distance, but also for its unique hill. The Kyoto racecourse has a uniquely complex structure. A gently sloping, long hill was placed along the final leg of the race. From the third to fourth corner, there was a similarly gentle and gradual descent. While Nakayama and Tokyo racecourses did have similar slopes, they were only artificial steep hills
Oh.
deliberately installed to create changes in the race's rhythm. In contrast, the hill at Kyoto formed almost naturally, resembling the appearance of European racecourses. The difficulty of this racecourse also bore an old proverb: go up slowly, go down slowly. During the era of TTG, a similar saying would emerge: do not descend the hill from the innermost gate. Your speed will perish. The battle on this hill will directly determine the outcome of the Kika Sho.
So you kind of have to pace yourself and not go too hard up it or too hard down it, or you'll fatigue yourself.
Horses who used their stamina on the uphill climb would burn out rapidly, while horses who accelerated on the downhill would swing widely outside by the final homestretch. How to ultimately overcome these issues
Not pre-watched, by the way. Just, it made sense.
lay entirely on the judgment of the jockey. How would Yoshinaga tackle the Kika Sho? This question burned in people's minds as Mr. C.B approached that dreadful climb. What would happen next would defy any warning given on the consequences of rushing up that hill. As soon as Mr. C.B reached that wretched climb, he began to advance. This was a long-distance acceleration while climbing the hill, meaning to catch the leading positions from the rear. Mr. C.B was rushing in at full speed. Racing officials thought this was a reckless
Damn,
decision
didn't
by
even
Yoshinaga.
care.
However, in no time, Mr. C.B began to close the gap on the leading group. What no one knew was the fact that this is not what Yoshinaga had intended. This sudden surge was birthed from Mr. C.B's own fighting spirit. Shocked by C.B's actions, Yoshinaga attempted to restrain him, but swiftly realized it was impossible. Forcibly restraining him now will risk destroying this passionate urge to run.
Yeah, Mr. CB said, hold on, I got this. You just relax, jockey. Leave it in my hands. I'm winning this. They dare challenge me? Ace think they're gonna run against me because they're not suited for this track but wanted to challenge me? Fools. I'll show you all.
To every rider Yoshinaga and CB flew past, the verdict was unanimous. Game over. No horse can attack that early on this track and live to tell the tale. Cheers from the stands quickly changed to angry shouts. The audience believed that this was a glaring error by Yoshinaga. On the longest course, on the most demanding section, Mr. CB clearly would burn out, expelling all his stamina to catch the leads. Of course, as we stated before, the odds may be low, but they're never zero. After descending from the hill, entering the final homestretch, Mr. CB would unleash an even sharper finishing kick.
They're going to learn today. They are. They never know the ankles will accelerate the uphill. Yeah, it was a bold strategy. And well, let's find out if it pays off. Even though technically we know how it goes, but it's fine. All right, let's watch.
Distancing the trailing participants, it was as if Mr. CB were running entirely on his own. The angry shouts of the crowd quickly transformed into the deafening roars of applause.
Mr. CB,
For the first time
Mr. Can't
in
Be
19
Stopped.
years, a Triple Crown winner was running right before their eyes. Overwhelmed with emotion, many spectators began to realize they were witnessing history in the making. Hearing stories of triumph secondhand is one thing, but experiencing it was a completely new feeling. For the first time in nearly 20 years, another Triple Crown title would be claimed.
Go,
As
go.
CB continued to defy all belief, Kiyoshi Sugimoto would shout, "The earth is bouncing for Mr. CB." Welcomed by this tremendous applause, Mr. CB crossed the finish line, 3 lengths ahead of second place. The race
Let's
course was
go.
drowned out by thunderous applause of the audience. For the
Man, that was so good. Ace faded to 20th? That's rough.
first time in 19 years, a new Triple Crown winner was realized. Mr. CB had become Japan's 3rd Triple Crown recipient. Interestingly, the unique skill of Mr. CB in
Encroaching
Umamusume is
Shadow.
named Approaching Shadow. This ability then evolves into Bouncing Earth, which is based on this historic
That's a
commentary
nice
from
touch.
the Kika Sho. With the classic year only described as legendary, Mr. CB would end 1983 with 5 total starts, claiming the prestigious Triple Crown title. But for each and every person who's familiar with the history of the sport, you'll know that 1984 would also generate a horse of legend. In 1984, Japanese racing underwent a historic revolution with the introduction of the graded stakes system. Races were completely reorganized, with the common ranking being placed of G3, G2, and G1 races. The excitement from CB's Triple Crown triumph was still a hot topic in the world of racing. As the hype and discussion surged, a new horse would appear. A horse whose owner was confident could not only claim the Triple Crown,
I hear boss music.
but also capture the Japan Cup. This horse would sweep through the Satsuki Sho in April and the Tokyo Yushun in May. And unlike CB, this racer would do so undefeated. This presence shook the racing world. Wasn't a Triple Crown
That must have been so amazing to watch in person.
Years? This was the common shocked comment when witnessing this horse race. Until Mr. CB, many doubted another Triple Crown could ever happen again. Yet not even a year later, the prospect of a back-to-back Triple Crown suddenly became real. The lingering urge slowly grew to see this horse clash against Mr. CB in future races. A horse who, just like CB, would defy all expectations. The Emperor, Symboli Rudolph.
There she goes.
Did you enjoy this video?
Yes,
and
I
are
did.
you looking forward to part 2?
I am.
Be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Mr. CB's history has proven to be far more extensive than I originally thought, and I'm having a blast learning more as I go along.
Me too.
Thank you all for joining me, and as always, I will see you all in the next one.
We did it, boys. We did it. Finally got through the video. A long vid, yes. It was a bit of a longer one, but we managed to do it. And how long did it take me? It's almost an hour-long video, and it only took me about an hour and a half. Look at that. I improved. Someone in chat say they're proud of me.